I will be saying goodbye to silver because the future of gold is just much more exciting. So I am going to be saying goodbye to silver. For me, the end of silver is very near. Silver's death is actually upon it for my silver journey, as it seems. I'm nearing the completion of my silver stacking journey, having diversified my silver investment portfolio between bars, coins, capital gains tax exempt pieces, and pieces that also aren't capital gains tax exempt. But why am I going to be forever not purchasing any more silver and moving on to a brighter future with the yellow metal? Well, for me, there's just too many downsides when it comes to silver. Now, there's no denying that silver has had fantastic price increases. Over the last 20 years, silver has increased from a low of £2.89 for an ounce of silver to a high of £29.26 per ounce of silver. That's a 508% increase. So there's no denying that there was and has been fantastic improvements on the price of silver. And I have no doubt going forward there will continue to be. But when we also look at gold, gold in its last 20 years had a low per ounce of £210 to a high of £1,635 per ounce. That's an increase of 570%. So gold's had a slightly bigger increase through the last 20 years, but it's actually still very close in percentage yield terms comparing silver to gold. But for me, I just feel like silver doesn't have some of the properties that the yellow metal has. Silver in the UK, unfortunately, you have to pay VAT on your silver purchases, at least when you're buying direct from bullion dealers. Silver also tarnishes very badly. A case in point is milk spotting. I've got a King Charles Coronation Britannia here, and you can see that there's already milk spots all over this coin. Very, very frustrating when it's such a beautiful piece. It really does spoil it. Not only that, but silver's much more volatile than gold. It goes up and down. The price tends to fluctuate a lot more than gold. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hater of gold. I have a fairly decent stack of silver in my portfolio. It's probably a lot smaller than a lot of precious metal stackers, but that's simply because of my investment plans and goals may differ from other people's. I'm investing and saving more money, more capital in other assets. So I see it's good to have some silver in my portfolio, but not a far amount that is very, very valuable. A few thousand, for example. And gold. Well, when we look to the benefits of gold, gold is very stable. We know that. A case that I like to argue is a good way to predict the future is to look at the past. And gold has just been so much more stable than silver. Gold also holds more value. For me, it's a better store of wealth to store your capital. And in my opinion, gold will never make you rich, but it certainly keeps you rich. Silver, for example, though, potentially has more upside potential. We know it's an industrial metal. We know it's widely used and it's a non-renewable resource. So you could argue that silver has better properties for potentially making you more money. But as it stands, there is no denying the facts. Gold is a better store of wealth. It simply holds more value and you can hold much more capital in a weight of assets comparing it to silver. Gold is also much more recognised globally. You don't have to be a bullion expert to know that gold is very sought after. Gold bullion is very high purity. But when it comes to silver, talking to the general public, people who aren't stackers, they always seem to have very limited or no knowledge on silver bullion. Now, I'm not hating on silver. I love it. I think in some aspects it looks better than gold bullion on appearances. I think the reflectiveness and the designs tend to show up better on silver. But I just don't have massive aspirations for silver as an investment. I think I would much rather store a lot of my capital when it's not being invested in maybe the S&P 500 or property. I would much rather have it going into gold bullion than silver bullion. I'm happy with the portfolio that I've got. I think there's enough value there for it to have potentially good results over a 20-year period, 2 decades. And I think that, I do expect it to increase in price. I think that the demand for silver will eventually outweigh the source, therefore pushing the price up. So going forward, it's probably still very wise to invest in silver bullion. But every investor and precious metal stacker tends to have their own financial goals and plans. And I think that's very important. You can often get caught up in social media trying to copy other investors, entrepreneurs, and stackers on how they invest and stack their money. But for me, it personally comes down to your own desires and your own financial abilities and your circumstances. You might have less or more money to invest. Maybe you want to invest it in other areas. For example, I'm not particularly a big investor on cryptocurrencies, but there are some people out there that like to have a mixture of it in their portfolio. Some people like to have maybe more high risks investments in their portfolio. I tend to play it a little bit more safe, but going forward, silver I think is a safe investment, but it's not going to be for me. I have maybe another 22, 25 ounces of silver I want to get to add to my precious metal stack for my portfolio. And then at that point, I'm going to be sealing it off and simply moving over to the yellow metal. I'll probably be focusing on quarter ounce Britannias, like you could see in front here. I think they're a perfect happy medium when it comes to fractional gold. You're not getting hammered on the premiums like you do for, say, 1 gram gold bars, and you're not spending a lot of capital that you have to release on, say, something like a 1 ounce gold Britannia. Although it's a very good investment, most people don't have that sort of capital to liquidate on a regular dollar cost averaging basis. So I think the quarter ounce gold Britannias are a fantastic opportunity to look at investing in more going forward in the future, as I'll be moving away from silver. After all, it's 7.7 grams of 24 karat gold bullion, and I have a lot of faith in gold and its stability going forward. So that's the end result for me for my silver journey. There will be future videos on it. Of course, I'm a precious metal content creator and stacker. There will always be plenty of silver featuring on the channel. It's just my silver journey as a personal investment plan will be coming to a slow end rather soon. So that's the video on my silver journey and how I'm going to be saying goodbye to it with the end of it coming near. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. A big shout out to the channel members. You make up to 14% of the channel's revenue. And recently I released a full investment portfolio reveal, including my holdings in the S&P 500, precious metals, savings, and more of that. So if you want to find that video, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button below. Until next time, I'll see you all in the very next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.